Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm going to go over words 11 through 20 for Vocab Unit 9. Before I do that, a couple of quick things. First of all, on Turnitin, the submission is open for your Bronze Bow final draft. That's due April the 3rd, which is next Friday by midnight. I will take late submissions, but of course I'll take points off. I'll get a grading rubric which tells you how I'll grade it up maybe over the weekend or by Monday. Basically, it's going to focus heavily on your actual argument, the structure of your essay, your use of in-text citations. Something most of us struggled with on our rough draft was really incorporating what we cited as far as our quotes into our paper. Some of your quotes just kind of stood on their own, didn't have anything to do with the actual argument of your paragraph. Make sure whatever quote you put in ties back to that topic sentence of the paragraph it's in. Make sure it supports it, okay? I'm going to count those pretty heavily. Again, argument pretty heavily. Grammar and spelling is probably going to be like 5 points. MLA formatting is probably going to be around 5 points. This is a final draft. We worked on it. I've given you feedback. Those things should be good, and I'm not necessarily terribly concerned with them moving forward. I'm more concerned with the way that you format your essay consistently and make sure that it stays on topic, supports itself, and all of that. Also, synonyms and antonyms are posted on Google Classroom for you to do. They're the same exercises as from the book, just like choosing the right word was. But you have to type these in. Now, I usually think about when I'm making the answer key, if you're going to put an S on the end of the word or an ED or an ING, and I leave it open where you can possibly do that and still get it right. And whether you start the word with a capital letter or not, it should be fine. But if you spell it wrong, it's going to mark it wrong. I can't possibly foresee all the possible ways that you could misspell a word and account for those. If you do misspell a word for these first couple of weeks, let me know. I can fix it when it goes in RenWeb such that it doesn't count against you. Now, in a few weeks, I may say, hey, you've been used to this long enough, make sure you spell the word right. You've got a book to look at. I've posted the pages online, and I'll continue to do that for every unit, so make sure you do that. Also, for next week, we're going to start a Shirley chapter. We may get into poetry a little bit. I haven't decided yet. It was difficult enough to juggle, literature, vocab, and grammar all in the same class when I had you for 60 minutes 4 times a week. Being that we're doing this online, we're doing this through less than 15-minute videos, 30 minutes of assignments. It's going to be difficult to do all 3 at once at many points. So we may do Shirley for a week and then do something out of the Pearl book for a week. We'll probably do vocab every week though, so just be looking for that going forward. We'll have more to do starting next week. I was giving us this week to kind of slowly work into Google Classroom and figure out how everything was going to work. But if you have any questions about that, any questions about the 2 assignments for today, or about your Bronze Bow essay, let me know. I'll talk about the essay a little bit more early next week. You can go ahead and start submitting as of today. You can always resubmit. So if you want to make sure that you can get into turning in and get it submitted, go ahead and turn something in. I'm not going to actually start grading them until after next Friday. So don't worry about turning something in that's not completely finished. You can always resubmit. All right, so Unit 9 vocab, word 11 is optional. This is a pretty common word that you've probably heard before. Optional means something that's not required, something you have a choice about, something you can make a decision on. So doing your classwork is not optional if you want a good grade, but maybe playing video games is optional. It's not something you have to do, it's something you're doing by choice. Word 12 is outright. Oh, and optional is an adjective. Word 12 is outright. Outright means completely, absolutely, 100%. So if I said she was outright rude to me when I asked that question, it means she was completely rude to me. She was just over the top rude. This can be an adjective or it can be an adverb. I could say that's an outright lie. That means it's a total, complete lie. That's using it as an adjective. I could say, you could say he ran into the road outright. That goes back to the verb ran. It means he ran completely out into the road, didn't have any hesitation. That's using it as an adverb. I would probably use it as an adjective. I think that's easier. It can be an adverb, obviously, but the sentence structure is usually a little bit odd when you use it that way. So I would probably focus on using that one as an adjective. Word 13 is rendezvous, which comes from the French, which is why it's so funny looking. Some of you are going to want to say rendezvous or something like that. It is rendezvous. It just means a meeting. You've probably heard the word before, maybe not necessarily known what it meant or how to spell it. A lot of you are probably going to have trouble spelling it on some of the assignments. That's okay. Just let me know. I know it's a tough word. This can be a verb or a noun. As a noun, you would say something like, I had a rendezvous planned in the park at 3:30. It just means I had a meeting planned. I had planned to meet someone. Or you could say, we rendezvoused at the movie theater after lunch. That's we met at the movie theater. So you can use it either way. It means a meeting or to meet someone. pretty simple word to actually use. Word 14 is rotund. Rotund means round or fat. Okay, it's an adjective. It's pretty easy to use in most cases. You think of it, it looks kind of like the word round. It's basically what it means. You might think of a sumo wrestler as being rotund, or me. You would say the rotund man ate a whole pizza in one sitting. I could totally do that. Something like that. It's a pretty easy word to use as long as you can remember what it means. You can think of the word rotunda, which is like a round building. That comes from the word rotund, which means round, fat, plump. Word 15 is saunter. So to saunter is to kind of stroll along lazily. It's usually got kind of like a swagger to it, like someone swaying their shoulders as they walk. That's sauntering along, not in a hurry to get anywhere. Kind of like a person who might be showing off, trying to be noticed. They might saunter along lazily. It can be used as a verb, like I just used it. He sauntered along lazily, or it could be used as a noun. You could say he went for a saunter across the room. Like the kid gets up and they want to make a joke out of going to the trash can to throw trash away. I'm sure certain names are popping into your heads. They might walk slowly and look around and smile at everybody and take their time about it, and that would be a saunter that they took to the trash can. Word 16 is sluggish. Sounds like the word slug, which is like a little snail. It's related to that. It's something moving really slowly or lazily. So you could say, I got out of bed sluggishly this morning, using it as an adverb, which I would be fine with. Or you could say, I was sluggish when I started my online classes this morning because I was really tired and didn't want to do it on a Friday. Either way works. Pretty easy word to use. Just keep that slug in mind and how that moves, and you should be okay. Word 17 is subordinate. So this can be an adjective, it can be a noun, or it can be a verb. They're all tied in meaning. It means something that's lower than someone else, someone that works under someone else usually. You often see it in the military. So if you've got a captain and a private, the private is subordinate to the captain, which means he's underneath him. He has to listen to him. It can also be he is the captain's subordinate, using it as a noun, like he is the person under the captain. You can use it as a verb, which means like to put someone under you. So if a country invades another country, they might subordinate that country. It's pronounced a little differently when used as a verb, that ate sound at the end. To subordinate another country would be to basically conquer them and put them under you, make them work for you. Like if you colonized someone. We don't see this a lot in, I don't know what's going on with my dryer. We don't see a lot of countries subordinating other countries in the modern world, but if you look back at colonial history, the 1700s, 1800s, you see a lot of it. I don't care how you use it, noun, verb, or adjective, all work. If it's easier for you to remember it as like a noun, you could say the subordinate had to answer to his boss or something like that. It's a pretty easy word to use as a noun or an adjective. Like I said, the verb might be a little bit trickier, but whichever is more comfortable for you, I'm fine with. Word 18 is tint. So a tint is a hue, a shade, a color of something. So you could say there was a green tint to the light shining through the window. This can also be like if you get your windows on your car darkened, they get tinted, or there might be a tint to your sunglasses, like a dark shade to them where it blocks out some of the light. That's also a tint. This can be used as a verb as well. So you could say, I had my car windows tinted, which is a verb version, meaning had them darkened, had them changed in such a way that they would keep light out better. Either way works for me. Pretty easy word to use. Word 19 is variable. Something that's variable is likely to change. It can be a noun or it can be an adjective. You could say the weather in Alabama is variable. That's using it as an adjective. It means it changes a lot. It means one day it might be 40, one day it might be 80. It might be in the morning that it's 40 and in the afternoon that it's 80. We have that a lot around here. It can also be a noun. So if you're doing an experiment, like in a science class later on, you'll hear this word a lot. The variable is the thing that changes in the experiment versus a constant, something that doesn't change. So if you could say, my dad's temper is a variable in my life. Maybe your dad's really happy one day and the next day he's mad and throwing things at you. I hope not. But that would be a variable in your life, something that changed a lot. You can use it as a noun or an adjective. I'm fine either way. That Alabama weather is variable would work great for me. Adjective, pretty easy usage. Word 20 is verge. So verge can be a noun, it can be a verb. The verge of something is the edge of it. So you could say we stood on the verge of the cliff. Like you stand at the edge of this cliff about to fall off of it or jump off of it, looking over the edge. You're standing at the verge of it. As a verb, it means to approach the edge of something. And this can be literal or figurative. You could say we verged on the edge of the cliff. It means we kind of crept up to the edge, got really close to it. You could say you're verging on making me angry. It would be that someone's getting on your nerves, getting really close to pushing you over that edge where you're angry with them. Either one is fine. Using it as a verb is probably more common, and using it figuratively, especially like saying you're verging on getting in trouble right now, things like that. That's a really common usage of it in modern English that you see a lot. Using it as a noun, like I said, it's still pretty easy, but it's not as common. So that's all 20 of our words. Again, synonyms and antonyms are due by midnight tonight. We'll do completing the sentence most likely on Monday. And it'll be formatted similarly to synonyms and antonyms. You'll have 20 questions you'll have to go through, and you'll have to type the answer in, make sure you spell it right and all that. If you misspell one, like I said, for these first couple weeks, send me an email. A couple of you already have. Let me know. I can go back in and fix it on RenWeb. If you see a grade on RenWeb that doesn't match up with what you made on Google Classroom, because you can see grades on there, and if you say, well, hey, I emailed you and told you this, maybe I missed it, I've got 100 and something students. If I get 70 emails or 70 messages about, hey, I missed this because I misspelled it, sometimes I'm going to miss one. Okay, so just let me know. I can always go back in and check and fix it. If you have any questions about any of these vocab words, any of the assignments, anything about Google Classroom in general, about what we're going to be doing in the class going forward, about your Bronze Bow essay, anything like that, just let me know. If you need any extra help with these words, tell me. I can always give it to you. I can give you more sentences, more definitions, different parts of speech that you can use it in, whatever. Any of that's fine with me. You just have to let me know. So have a good weekend. Good luck with these assignments. Stay safe. See you guys.